I ain't had no pants on, so I had to watch the way I was getting up out the chair. Ooh, I can feel myself combing that hair right now. And now for this, my hair was not detangled by any way, shape, or form. I should have definitely went through with a wide tooth comb first before I used the detangler brush. And I just like to make sure my hair is saturated with product as far as leave-in conditioner is concerned. I do mix my own leave-in. Um, it's an cumulative of many, 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 many different products that have just worked for my hair and my family's hair throughout the years. So I do use that. We were completely out for like a month, and this is my hair only being conditioned once since that month or two. I think it was about 2 months. Um, Honey, when I was going to drench my hair anyway because I don't normally go that long, and you could tell like my hair never looks like that when I take it out of the braids that I normally have it. I am blow drying my hair on the highest setting, but I change it periodically. So once I feel my hair starts to feel about halfway dry, then I put it on medium, and then once everything's pretty much dry, I blow dry it the rest on cool. And I just normally stretch my hair out down and then I the tension method. I'll pull it straight and then I'll blow dry down. I am learning to slow down that hand motion. I'm so quick to do multiple passes. But really, if you take your time going down with that blow dryer, you only need so many passes, especially if your hair isn't drenched. So I always try to remind myself, like, slow down when you're blow drying your hair because I wouldn't have to do so many passes if I slowed down, especially since I'm blow drying it on high. Finding the grip when you're doing your own hair is like vital. So I'm assuming right there I was blow drying my hair on cool. And you didn't see it, but since I know my hands are slippery, excuse me, since I know my hands are slippery, I took the heat protectant and I sprayed it in my hands because it was going to be so hard to hold the heat protectant bottle up while I tried to when I tried to spray it. So like doing your own hair with no mirror. I had a mirror in front of me, but I'm not even facing the mirror. I'm facing my table. It's vital to just kind of know what you're feeling for. Um, you know, if you're good at feeling with doing your own hair, you don't need to necessarily see like allowing your hands to be your eyes. It'll work. It'll have you stress less about what my part looks like because you can feel it and be like, okay, this is okay. It could be worked on a little bit better, but I'm also not looking at it. So the back of your head, I wouldn't be too much concerned about. So I decided to just speed up until I got to the front so that we can, speed up this process because it is a long one. I went ahead and conditioned every single section. I detangled every single section. And eventually, when I'm done with this section, I will go through my entire head to get those pieces between each section I did because, like the root, I didn't really touch it because it was in a ponytail and I didn't want to get the ones that were in the ponytail caught on the blow dryer comb. So like now I'm kind of merging those two sections. Still really focusing on the front part of it because it's not fully stretched. And I don't really normally fully stretch my hair because I can work with my hair in its natural state. It doesn't necessarily have to be detangled. I'm sorry, it doesn't necessarily have to be blow dried. Even for my clients, if they are more on the tender head side, then I'll take that extra 30 minutes and give them a nice blow dry just so that it's easier for the both of us to make it through the end of the process. But any stylist who works with natural hair knows natural hair should be able to work with natural hair in its natural state. You shouldn't have to always blow dry hair. Now, that is not always the case because time and everything goes, but definitely get you a stylist that has time to cater to your natural hair needs and are not just concerned about the final outcome of the style.
We fucked up. Sammy gonna be coming to this motherfucker. Thank you, Corona.
Yes. Yes, and
No.
sick.
I was on the phone with Diddy and she was like, why one of her homegirls was like, she made an argument with Santa.
So now here, excuse me. I'm just parting my hair. Now again, since I knew at least what colors I was doing, I was from there trying to figure out what style I was doing. So I had one or two styles in mind, and I decided on knotless braids because knotless braids are so easy. It's like little to no effort. Don't really have to worry about that knot at the top of box braids, making sure that it stays. Although I can do it, that's not the problem. Or the rubber band method that does help with pre-sectioning and making sure your boxes are straight and helps with people who don't know how to grip. Also a method I don't necessarily need to use, but I have used in the past. So I'm just going to start sectioning and get to braiding. I wasn't really going for a middle part. The way with the colors that I chose, I only wanted my color to be primarily in the middle of my head. I didn't really care for a middle part or not. I didn't really care. And then I'm just taking my comb, which I shouldn't really use that comb because that comb is a parting comb. That comb is not really meant to comb through your hair. You see how my hair is getting caught? My hair is fully detangled. There's no reason why those little snags should be getting caught. And it's because the teeth are so put together. They're so close together. So, yeah, that's not really a good. I'm probably going to change my comb out now. But I like to take my Shining Jam and my rat tail comb, and I'll normally take it around the edges of my Shining Jam and drag it on the edges. And then I take that and I kind of just, what I'm doing here. You see, I'm taking it and I'm rubbing it against the root all the way around the perimeter of my root, just to make sure all the hair is going in the direction that I needed to. And I remember recording this. I'm going to end up doing this braid twice, which is fine. Because, the first braid you got to get. Now, if this first braid was in the back of my head, I would have redid that braid 5 or 6 times. Because the first braid in the back is like the most stressful braid of the entire head. And you can always go through once you become really, really good at what you do, You can literally look and see what braid was the first braid braided, because it's normally the most unstable braid, or it's like not even all the way through. It's always something, or it's the loosest. It's always something with that first braid. So this is my first braid. It was not a success, but any failed attempt is success, because that's one step closer to getting yourself to where you need to be. So I even looked at failed attempts as a teacher moment. It's definitely a teacher moment. My lips are so dry. Oh my God. And this is where I fucked up at right there. It wasn't ready yet. It wasn't time. And then from there, I just kind of lost my grip. And knowing that, taking note of that in the midst, like, look how far, oh my goodness, you could just see how far the braiding hair, the sections were too thick, actually. That's what it was. That's what it was. Because I remember it ended up taking me like an hour longer to do my hair, because I had already sectioned. I had already sectioned out my hair, and so I had to go through and break each of those pieces up into three smaller pieces. So my sections were way too thick. Whenever I'm teaching people how to braid, or whenever I'm doing one-on-one classes, I always encourage my students to start off smaller. You can add smaller pieces, more smaller pieces to get to the length you want, compared to having one thick piece, going to add that second thick piece, and that second thick piece just makes it way too thick. So it's better to start out small and build your way up. And you kind of just add with the thickness of your braid, or the thickness of your liking. However thick you want your braids, that's how thick you make your braids. You know, that depends on the amount of hair you add, or that's added. So you see, I went further as far as making sure I braided it a lot longer before I brought my arms around to complete that braid. And I'm still adding hair here. I believe I used like 4 or 5 pieces of hair on each braid. And so I just wanted to bring it up. Give y'all a closer look. And I want to see if I show a piece here, but I'm out of frame, so probably not. That braid looks good. And, you know, I was able to take that little piece right there because I could feel the thickness. That's one. And the other thing is I could feel and see my natural hair showing out of that. So I just was trying to keep the hair moving so that I'm getting an even braid all the way down. This black hair I'm using, that's free tress in the color, excuse me, in the color 1 or 1B. I believe it's a 1. So I could feel and I could see that my braiding hair was starting to get thinner, and it wasn't time for my braid to start getting thinner. It still needed to be at a certain thickness. So I went ahead and added another piece of hair, a very thin piece, because I didn't need it to be that thick, because I still have majority of my end of braiding hair. Also, to save time, I like to just bite on the hair. I mean, I don't know if this is, I doubt it's sanitary, but my hair is clean. I can't speak for the braiding hair. But I do like to bite on it to save myself time from trying to stretch my arms all the way out. That you really lose time trying to do that. So I like to just bite it, or I'll take I'm not really biting it, I'm putting it between my lips. Or I'll take a clip, like one of the metal duck clips I have in my hair, holding my hair apart. I'll take that and I'll fold it into itself, kind of right where that part bends at. I will take the clip and clip it right there. And then depending on length, since I'm at the bottom, I will either add another piece or just braid to the end. I'm not really like I've done some really, really long braids before, and allowing them to get caught in every doorway, sitting on them, closing them in the door when I get in the car, it's just too much. So I said, I believe this inch of hair in my hair is either 28 or 48. Now with Free Tress says 48 inches, while Expressions said 28 inches or 48. I can't remember. One of them said 48, one of them said 28, but these hair lengths are exactly the same length. So somebody is lying. I didn't take out a measurement or anything to measure, but I'm almost 100% sure Expressions is lying. I haven't checked. Don't quote me on it, but I just feel like they are. So that's braid one. I'm going to show you the root. Not bad, not bad. And you can see it's a little bumpy down there. I probably should have added a really thin piece of hair at that moment. I saw it when I was braiding. I kind of stopped and looked like, do I want to fix this? No, I don't. Of course not. It's not my head. If it was somebody else's head, my client's head. If it was my client's head, I probably wouldn't have messed up at all on that first braid. If I started from the front. Now, since it's my head, I'm going to say that's the reason why. My sister had just ordered me these combs, so I wasn't really used to using the right side. I wouldn't say that's the right side. That rat tail piece is so thick that I recommend that you actually do use the teeth, because the teeth are made for parting, for cleaning up the part. The rat tail part is just used to get your part in place, and then the teeth part is to define it, to make it cleaner, sharper. See, I ended up swapping out the pink rat tail for this one because the rat tail piece is a lot thinner. And then when it came time to part, it was like what I'm used to, baby, what I'm used to. I'm not used to using that pink comb. That was my first time using it. But when I say it makes your life 1,000 times better, honey, look at the difference in my part. And I'm going to do the same method. Take my comb, drag it around the edge of my... Oh, I use my hand. But it's better to use the comb because the comb allows you to use less product. So when you're taking the comb and you're scraping it around the edge of the jar, you're getting on there just through the teeth and a little bit on the teeth. So when you take your comb and you go through it, each piece of your hair is actually getting in touch with product compared to caking on the product with your finger and then combing it through, and you just have an entirely too much product that when you braid, you can see the white come out of the braiding hair. You have too much product on there. So I definitely recommend applying your Shine and Jam or whatever you do use for... I use Shine and Jam, the orange bottle, extra extreme hold or max hold, whichever one. I do use that, and that's all I use. Sometimes when it's time to lift my baby hairs, I'll use Eben, the purple jar edge control. That's one of my favorites. So I'm braiding my natural hair once, but I really should have you should really braid the root twice before you add your first piece of hair. It just gives it more of a natural coming out of your scalp type of look. And I'm keeping my fingers really, really close to the root because I'm not really ready to start braiding down the shaft. I want everything to still kind of be on the root. On the root gives you that natural look, as I was saying before. And how I really determine how much hair is needed, just looking at that, it's like you need more braiding hair because my natural hair is sticking out underneath, and when if you want full coverage, you will have to use enough hair that covers your natural hair. So I normally add my two pieces and I wait till I do this little hand maneuver right here, turning my fingers around before I add another piece. So at least two pieces to cover the three pieces of your natural hair, and then I braid down maybe two or three, and then I turn my hands around so that I can start braiding down the shaft, and then I'll add another piece or two. So like looking at the root, I would have if I would have braided that twice, it wouldn't look like that as far as the second braid is concerned. But I only did, one pass, one twist, one braid maneuver. I should have did at least two braid maneuvers before I added that first piece of braided hair. You really trying to lower the tension, and since I didn't lock since I didn't erase the possibility of tension off that first braid right there, you can guarantee I'm going to either have hair coming out of that section, or it's going to be pieces of my hair being pulled, my edges being pulled, because it was not really put in there right. And since I'm braiding my own hair and I'm looking back at the video, I'm watching it with y'all, even when I stopped and observed it and put it in the camera, I could tell that it needed to be braided more. But I wear my hair down a lot, so I'm not really concerned about tension. And I do believe at this moment I realized I didn't feel like doing my hair. It already took me maybe 2 weeks to convince myself to do it. And then I get there and I sit in the chair and I remember looking at myself like, I'm only on the second braid. I have a whole head of braids to do. Right now I'm just checking the thickness, because even braiding that one, I could tell that it was a little too thick. I am making myself cringe combing my hair with that thin ass comb. Like that would definitely be the last resort of detangle. It's like fingers, wide tooth comb, detangler brush, um, comb, and I still wouldn't suggest combing your hair with such a very, very, very thin comb. So, since this is my first upload as Meek, the multitasker, I don't know if I want to use the or duh, but since this is my first upload as Meek, I just like to give y'all a little rundown of what I plan on doing here. I'm not certified in anything cosmetology related. I am looking forward to getting certified in many things cosmetology related. I'm interested in nails, makeup, hair, waxes, massage therapy. I'm interested in many, many, many of those things. And with COVID being our current situation, I see no other time to do something that requires certification of 1,500 hours. So I have worked in salons. I've worked underneath my sister, who's very well known in my area, in our area, for what she does as far as the hair salon is concerned. I'm just really proud of my progress and even coming to certain recollections of what I want to do and what I want to take part of. I'm a full-time college student, so I'll probably be doing college vlog. And I'll just be letting y'all come along the journey with me. I do have some family members that are looking to reboot or revamp their own YouTube channels and whatnot. So we'll all be taking certain steps to become a family and a community here. We're going to move on in our neighborhood. We're going to all move in on the same block. So just follow us wherever, whatever channel we go to, that's the page you come to. So don't be afraid to comment, follow me back, or comment, what you expect to see from me or what you want to see from me or what you expect from me. If you follow me, I don't mind following back. Leave a comment that say follow back and I'll follow back. Any comments or any recommendations, you could just go ahead and let me know and I'll get to it. So this is my first blonde, or this is not blonde, this is 33 or 30, I think. I think it's 30. This is my first 30 braid. I knew exactly where I wanted my 30 to start, and I knew exactly where I wanted it to end. I kind of wanted it to be like in a swoop bang formation. Not really, but like I had a vision, and my vision actually worked out exactly how I wanted it to work. So, now if you didn't want any of your black to show, I wanted mine to have like kind of a gradient feel. But if you don't want to see black at all except for the root, because there's nothing you can do about the root, because you know, it's your root and you can't hide your root, even if you had box braids. Well, you could, but you couldn't. You'll still see it. But you add the exact amount of thickness of your hair. You add it to that section to cover up your natural hair, and it'll be that color from the start. And when I say the exact amount of thickness, I mean the first piece of hair you add will be half of the thickness of that section. And the second piece you add will or should cover the remaining black of your hair, or the remaining color of your hair. Because if you look here, it wasn't that far off. I needed maybe a little bit more 33 to achieve covering my entire head from root to tip. We just call it root, even though it wouldn't have been root. All my roots will be black regardless of the color I add to it. Looking at this video now, I am realizing my parts were crappy. Normally my front parts are decent. These are not the best. But I also wasn't in the really doing my hair mood. I have to get in that mood. And I had a presentation the next day, so I really wanted my hair to be done. I was so tired of my classmates looking at me with a nappy head on Zoom, and I needed something better. And then I had realized that a few of my college mates follow me on Instagram. I didn't know. I'm not really big on social media. And when I say I'm not big on social media, I mean exactly that. I'm not into posting every day or following back, only because I'm not on there every day. So by the time I get on, the notifications are so overwhelming that I don't even want to look at them. And then if I'm scrolling, on my timeline via Instagram and I see somebody that I recognize, and I'll click their page, if I'm not following them, I'll follow back. So it's normally from people that I know that I'll make sure I follow back. People I don't know, I don't really care, to be honest. Because it's my Instagram and it's private. I did just recently make a business Instagram so that I can be more interactive. So here I just sped up to basically me being done, because I'm like, these videos are way longer than I intended for them to be. I think from start to finish, it took me about, I want to say about 3 hours to braid. It took me about an hour to blow dry. And it took me an hour to blow dry because I was also conditioning and detangling in between that. And my hair was not freshly washed. I had washed my hair maybe a month ago, a month ago. I washed it around my birthday, which was November 10th. And actually, the girl on the packet of hair that I used, her hair was in this exact style, like down to the color, down to the braid going to the side. Her hair was the exact same way. So if you notice, like, that brown starts and ends in the middle. It's not on my sides. My sides are all black, and the back is all black. When doing the sides knotless, I never use more than a pack of hair. I used 2 packs of hair, but that was primarily because of the color choice. If I had used all black, I would have used a pack of hair, and I would have had maybe 2 or 3 pieces of hair left. I think I was watching Wilco's. I love me some Wilco's. What else will I be doing on my blog? I'll also be doing extractions. I have really, really bad anxiety. So I extract myself. Extractions really help me calm down, but it's also a disorder, hair pulling disorder. So I wouldn't recommend that it is healthy that I extract myself in the amount that I extract myself. So yeah, that'll be a journey for you guys, because I'll be forced to not pluck because I want to make a video, of course. So I can't wait to upload my first extraction video, which I've already made. I've been extracting myself for about a year now. So I've been, I used to pull out my eyebrows and my eyelashes, and I was actually recommended by my therapist to pull places that aren't as extremely noticeable, because it was indeed making me insecure that I was having, big gaps in between my lashes, because I will pluck them, pluck them, pluck them, pluck them, pluck them. Once I was able to identify what an ingrown hair was, what it looked like, and again, just how to identify it in this various states that it comes in, As soon as I would feel a bump anywhere, I was trying to pluck the hair out. Whatever hair was close by, nearby, I was plucking it. And before I was doing it with my hands, I went the further step to order, tools off of Amazon. And from that moment on, I have been a plucking fiend. Okay, I pluck religiously, at least every 2 days. It's bad. I have to literally leave my house and go visit somebody in order for me to not pluck. I found myself, I had tweezers in the car, I had tweezers in my purse, I had tweezers in my overnight bag. It was just getting ridiculous. So I'm like, I gotta make some changes. So I figured if I am making videos, doing the various things that I enjoy or the various things that I'm interested in, then indeed I'd be plucking less. So we'll see how that goes. So, and of course, I'll just be taking y'all along the journey with me. I'll be doing reorganizing and organizing, vlogs. We just getting started. We just getting started. I do have some old YouTube channels that I am now 100% proud of. I did some very immature things on my old YouTube channel, and I really just wanted a fresh start and to start over. I know somebody out there is going to find them, somebody out there is going to judge me, and I frankly don't give a fuck. So, yeah. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of how far I've become, how far I've come. If you're not changing, you're the problem. So, I don't think anything about me is perfect. I didn't think anything about me back then was perfect. I always knew every day was a learning experience, and I've always carried it as such. So I expect to learn at least one thing new every single day. If I'm not, then that means I'm being extremely closed-minded, and I'm hating that I'm using my hand, but I'm assuming it's because for one, I'm watching Wilco's, and for two, I'm ready to be done. So my parts didn't turn out that bad for not being able to see the back of my head, which I'm realizing I didn't record any of except for these last two at the top. But I got through that back fast because my braids in the back are big. And I just didn't see any reason in me doing small knotless because I know me and I know that I will take my hair out after 2 weeks. So I get tired of a style really, really fast. But my goal is to leave these in for like 2 or 3 months so that I can do a video takedown. Two, three. Six turn. No. There we go. So, other than my parts, I must say my back looks better than my front. Oh my goodness, look at that blonde braid right there. That would need to be redone. I still do have my braids in. Like I said, they'll probably stay in for about 3 months. Maybe I'll take them out around my daughter's birthday. And I'm so sorry about my smoke detector. It gets on my math teacher's nerves. I promised her I would call 311 for them to come put a new battery in. But my whole dilemma is I need to clean my room. And I cannot have the fire department up in here with my room looking crazy. It don't be that bad. But I will definitely do maybe like a room tour or like redecorating my room just so that I can bring y'all into me a little bit more. I do believe I could have cut my time down by an hour had I did my hair without any nails on. But it's not impossible to do your hair with nails on. The relief of knowing you're one braid away from being done is everything.